Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. I'm Lou Gervaisi, Senior Manager, Development and Member Relationships for the Canadian Franchise Association. And thank you so much for joining us today. We have a great topic and a great panel. In today's webinar entitled, The Road to Recovery Starts Now, Customer Retention and Franchise Recruitment during COVID-19. Our panelists will discuss what they are doing to retain and grow their customer base and how they are approaching franchise recruitment during this time. A few housekeeping notes before we begin. Everyone on this call is on mute. You should see a question box on your screen. Please feel free to type in your questions at any time during this presentation. If the panel does not get to your questions, we will try our best to address them on our COVID-19 resources webpage. Today's webinar is also being recorded, so it'll be accessed after this presentation. A legal disclaimer, please note that this webinar and the information provided is not legal advice. Each franchisor and franchisee should consult their legal and business advisors to determine how this information works within the context of your franchise system and your franchise agreement. All right, let's do the introductions and let's get to the presentation. So first, I'd like to introduce our moderator, Jana Bailey. Jana is the CEO of FranNet, the most respected voice in the franchise consultant industry in North America. She brings with her over 30 years of experience in the banking and franchise industries and works closely with the International Franchise Association, IFA. We have three on our panel today. We'll start off with Mark Jamieson. Mark is the Executive Vice President, Franchise Support and Development of Fast Signs International. He is a certified franchise executive with more than 20 years of experience in all aspects of franchising in both consumer industries, which include home services, food, and retail, and in business-to-business, flooring, signs, and graphics. Next, we have Joel Friedman. Joel is an education consultant at the moment with Inspiration Learning Centers, and he's also the president of JSF Franchise Group and Deluxe Produce. For over 10 years, he has been helping CFA members grow their franchise companies. Joel deals with all aspects of franchising, such as educational, restaurants, print and signage, payday loans, and coffee cafes.
Joel, so tell us a little bit. You said most of your franchisees have been able to pivot to a virtual situation.
Yeah, so when we have the tutor center in the private school, so not all of our tutor centers have the private school. So our private school locations were closed before the tutor centers. I'll be very honest, we had no clue what to do when we heard all of this, and you know, we had to scramble, and you know, we started online, and we ourselves, we have our corporate stores. So what we did for our franchisees, because they were pretty nervous to go online, and so what we did is we held all the online learning from corporate stores. And what we did was to support them so that they can get used to online, setting up their systems, talking to their tutors, and implementing their program. So we did all of that for them. And what we did is all the sales that we received went straight to our franchisees. So royalties was always the first thing we had to do, and but that's not enough. Franchisees expected all of us to decrease royalties. We went half royalties, deferred royalties, no advertisement firm, so advertisement fee. So we did that. Once all of our centers were closed, that's when we kind of went online, and we've seen an 80% retention on the tutoring side of it. But what we've seen an increase is the private school side. We're maxing out on the capability. We're sharing all the tutors with each other, which the tutors love. But we are maxing out on it, and because we're getting new clients because they want to finish their credits, they're really worried of whether or not they can fill the credit. We know online learning will stay, so we're improving the program every day. I think we're almost there, having a platform that we believe in, and so we're there. We've been supporting them. We asked our franchisees. The other thing we've done is we can control their database of all their clients. So we've called all their clients on behalf of them. And if they wanted to, they can, but some of us has asked us to do it just to see how they're doing, whether or not they want to understand our programs. We also had one client that I spoke to last week. I offered them to use our Zoom because the boy that was dealing with it, I spoke to his mom. He said he fell into a depression. So I said, let the boy use our Zoom, contact the friends and everything. At the end, I actually had to give the number to CAMH because after talking about it, the boy was really falling into a depression. So I recommend them to go to speak to someone at CAMH. So we're there for our franchisees. We also, because of my other business with produce, we gave each location 50 fruit baskets for them to give out to their clients, their good clients, or to whoever they want, and they deliver that to them home as a goodwill, on behalf of Inspiration Markham. Here's a fruit basket. So lucky because of my two, businesses, but at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be something big. It was more the thought that we delivered something, knocked on their door, ran away, notified them. So our franchisees like that. We've been doing sales calls with our franchisees, coming up with telling them that they need to touch each customer 3 times, and calling them to continue to call them each week to get new customers. We've also implemented a referral program. So we always had one with our existing clients. What we did is just up the referral to have a better program and more advanced. And so our referral program has been working very well. So just a few things that we've done to help our franchisees.
Joel.
So we've been lucky in the education business before. Every time that we hear class sizes increasing, this was when Ford was coming up increasing, we do better that way because the students aren't getting the education. So we did see before COVID-19, we did see some increase. We're now going to see, we feel and franchisees feel that next year, just on the sales side of it, we're going to see huge increase because again, a lot of kids are going to go into the next grade and not know what they're doing or not be qualified to go because they haven't gone to school for these so much. So we think that's an upside. But what we're doing is we're being very process driven. I mean, we were always process driven, but even more in the franchise side of it. We are doing weekly webinars every week, same day, same time, reaching out all of our candidates that are on my list or Inspiration's list, and the weekly, and everybody knows they come on. I actually seen people on there twice, 3 times to go through the presentation. The minute that a lead converts, we're contacting them or they're contacting us. We're having discovery days again with them. And then we are doing what we've introduced, we've always had approval, but we've now called it the founder meeting. So we just call it sounds great. So the founder gets on, talks a little bit about the company. There are some people that still will want to meet, and there's some people that will do it by Zoom. Once the approval stage is happening, then I get my real estate broker to have a Zoom meeting with them. We talk about territories, and then he goes out and look for locations. And yesterday we actually went on site to see 3-4 locations. So again, people, as long as you're social distancing and you're doing the proper thing, there are people that still want to go out. What's surprising is the people we saw yesterday, we had 7 locations that we looked at 2 weeks ago, and not physically, but just online and called the brokers. 4 of them already have offers on them. So real estate, this is my belief.
Amazing.
Real estate, the offers are still happening. We are doing COVID-19 clauses in our offer, but we do see an upside in people that are very interested and want to get into the business. We saw this again in the last recession. We came out of that, and I think that was my best year that we saw so many growth. So I'm very optimistic that we're going to come out of this on the franchise recruitment side, and that we're going to see a growth in our brands. Again, it depends on the brand maybe, but we're going to see a big growth. I would say to everybody, both on the consumer side and getting customers and on the franchise side, we all have time to reach out. This is the best time to start reaching out to the new leads. I would call every single lead that you've had in the past, see what they're doing. And again, I believe in the 3-touch system and consumers. So all of our employees that are working still, they have time, whether it's the marketing department or other departments, get them to reach out both on the consumer side and on the franchise side just to introduce themselves. And again, tomorrow I have a founders meeting, Zoom meeting at 11, and 1 o'clock I have my webinar. So, I have 4 people in disclosure. Again, we do site-specific disclosure, so we have to wait for the real estate. But I think out of the 4, I won't say it's perfect, but I think that at least 3 out of 4 will close on those deals. So, keep focusing on the people, keep reaching out to them. It's the best time right now to reach out to new customers and to new candidates.
Okay.
I think we're using more the LinkedIn, Facebook, social media than we ever have. I don't think we really did before. And one of the ways, I think with the portals, we still are using portals, but if we weren't on the main page before, we're upgrading our portals to come on the main page so that they see us. Referrals from other brokers, we're upping referrals. Again, so that's, and we're adding it, so we're doing that. So, and then it's just, what we've had so far, the most success is just using our existing clientele. You'd be surprised at how those phone calls have helped us. Old leads, whether it's 3 years, 4 years, has really helped us a lot. And we've got 2 of those candidates from webinars and 2 of candidates from old. Plus then any leads that we do get or anybody, and we're just communicating. We're not talking a lot about COVID-19. On the consumer side, I wouldn't talk about COVID-19, but on the franchise side, during our strategy present, we mention it once because people want to know, and on the education part of it, it's good, it's online. But all that message afterwards, when we're sending follow-up emails and everything, we don't talk about COVID-19. We talk about what we're doing, why the education business. Come talk to our franchisees and leaving it more positive. But I do feel that at one point in the sales process, you do need to talk about COVID-19. But I think you might as well get that over and done with earlier than later, because the questions will come up. So we just do that at the strategy presentation part of it. I don't think we're doing anything different when it comes to benefits up front. I think we've learned a lot. I mean, if we add a new program for online learning, I guess that will be introduced. What we always did is we have 4 pillars of income. We now have added a 5th pillar of income in our process. So we do that. I think what we've learned is that there has to be a lot more communication with new franchisees. For example, once they sign their franchise agreement, we have, something new we started was weekly meetings with them. No matter what, Friday, 3 p.m., we're having a weekly meeting, whoever needs to get involved in it. So I think we've tightened some of our procedures And we've added some of the things that benefit. So the weekly meetings, once they sign the agreement, the Zoom meetings, I think are here to stay. I think they're great. I think in person, it's still good. I still like to do our strategy presentation in person because but at the end of the day, I think we're going to keep Zoom meetings. I think part of our training will go on Zoom meetings for people, especially of course, out of town. I think there would be, we're 3-week training. I think we'd do a week and a half Zoom and a week and a half at the site. So we're going to make some changes on our process, but the benefit is still the same, of our franchise.
All right, we've got about 5 minutes. So I've got one more question I want to try to get answered, and then we're going to go back to our host. Are any of you adjusting your signing process, especially the question is with regards to taking a partial payment or a deposit differently than what you did in the past?
I can answer. Oh, sorry, Mark.
No, go ahead, Joel. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that. So
no, you're fine.
We implemented before COVID-19. What we've done is we've broken up our payment. We've taken a partial payment up front. It has to do more with our program, because in our private school, it takes about 6 months to a year to get the license. So we broke it up in 2 parts. So when we start the application process, that's when we take the second part of our franchise fee. But no matter what, moving forward, we believe that, our franchise fee is $48,000, and in the education business, franchise fees range from 40 to 50 in general. But again, so we're taking 35,000, and then 6 months later,
Balance.
we're taking 13,000, which makes sense for cash flow too. And that was one of the reasons, plus making it. We did lower our franchise fee during these times to 25,000. Some people may say it's not a good idea, but again, it was something that we wanted to get them to have more cash flow. And again, but we'll always take the 25,000 up front on signing. It's their true commitment. Yeah. Even if we have to refund it, it's our true commitment that they're ready to proceed.
Our next webinar is tomorrow at 2 p.m. on the topic, supporting your franchisees' health and well-being. And this will be moderated by Lawrence Eade, VP Business Development of Cafe Artigiano. And he will be joined by Steve Collette, co-founder and CEO of Third Degree Training, and Sarah Hodgson, president and founder of Live Well Exercise Clinics. So if you haven't already done so, please register today. On behalf of the Canadian Franchise Association, thank you again for attending. Remember that you are not alone. We will get through this as a community. We are stronger together and growing together.